This is for the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast. With over 40 years of playing PlayStation and 5 plus years in that games media combined. I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services including Spotify and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to join us in future conversations, head on over to our socials, our Facebook, Discord, Instagram, Twitter, all the links in the description below.
I think my laptop's about to take off.
Yeah, I know, right?
But if you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist where you can watch us record this show live so we can get in the chat and have a good old time. If you want to support the show, you can. You can share the conversation. You can tell your friends, tell your family about this little PlayStation pod because things are about to get really, really exciting in PlayStation, so you might want to hang out. That's all I'm saying. If you want to support us financially, you can over at patreon.com/thepopculturist. You can also follow us buy merchandise, popculturist.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. How are you, Max?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's been an alright week.
Yeah, it's been an alright week. I've been pretty happy with it. I think that's not been bad at all. Now, as we'll bury the lead now, just so you guys know. State of play this week. The Last of Us. That is the main topic. That's coming the back end of the show because, as the title suggests. But one thing we need to talk about, and when we get into this, is PS5. But we'll get to there very quickly because I want to fucking talk about PS5. What have you been playing, Max?
This week, not a whole bunch. I played some more Mafia 2. I played some more GTA on PC, and I bought Super Mash.
The hell's a Super Mash?
Super Mash is great. So you pick it's a little game, and we read it out last week in the drop. Basically, you pick two game genres, and
that one,
and it mashes them together, and he's like, "Yeah, it spits out a game for you."
How did it go? So how does it go in terms of its combining these presumably random things?
So the first one I kicked off with was platformer JRPG, which was really weird. So I was doing platform jumping, and then I had random encounters with like turn-based action combat. Really weird. Really cool.
That sounds bizarre.
Yeah, like there's a story mode for it somehow. And basically you're just this guy who works in a video game store, and you have this console that has two cartridges. Like, hey man, just pop any two games in, you'll be all right.
Sweet.
So after you finish your game, it gives you a link and you can send that link to your friends, and they can play the game that was randomly generated for you, and they can try and beat your high score. It's pretty cool.
That does sound pretty cool.
Wasn't overly expensive. I paid less than $25 for it.
Yeah.
Good fun.
Nice.
Yeah. What about yourself?
I got credits this week on Mafia 2. So after reviewing it last week, I was like, I'll see it through. So it's 15 chapters, not 14. That's fine. It took me just under 10 hours to go from go to woe. I still don't rate it. I talked about it last week. We talked about it in episode of Operation PlayStation, which is a competing PlayStation show. They're good friends of ours, Dash and Padge. They invited me on to talk Mafia, so I did. So I put my thoughts down there even more, but it's technically a fucking mess.
Yeah, we got some news from Mafia 2 about what their plans are in the future for it. So
Dash in the chat says not competing. Well, technically we're competing, but also we're not really because we're fucking friends. And if we can help each other, then who cares? Like, it's just, yeah.
No, I want an Anchorman war style.
I was fighting in like a back alley with like a assorted bedding or whatever. The game is not very good, and even then the story, like, because my argument last week was that maybe I can understand why it's been given this cult-like status, right? And I'm thinking that maybe there's a turning point in the story that kind of really brings it home. No, it ends abruptly. But I like the ending, but it's also kind of like there is some DLC for it that I'm probably not going to play, but it's there. It's really rough. It's really rough. But I got credits. I saw it through, and that's I wanted to make sure I did that. Played a bit more MLB The Show on stream this week. That was a blast. I fucking love that game so much. So good.
Yeah.
A little bit more Persona at work. Because we're playing in like sort of essentially 3-hour bursts.
Yep.
So we're still just about to jump into Kamoshida.
It's enough to do like what, 2 days of in-game?
Yeah, it's like nothing. It's absolutely nothing. We are like trudging through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fine. Other than that, what I've been really wanting to pick up this week, and I don't know why I haven't done it. Probably because it's like $60. I really want to play Maneater, like bad. But I'm for some
keen.
reason I can't pull myself to buy it. Probably because I'm like unsure whether it's really good. And because I'm lazy, I want to buy it on digital because digital is brilliant and I have the internet to support it. But then if I don't like it, then I'm fucked. Because trade-ins are back allowed now.
Oh, really?
Apparently.
Cool. Fair enough.
Yeah. Other than that, no, I've not been playing a whole lot. It's been pretty quiet for the games week, actually.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I mean, you need that every once in a while.
That's true. All right, let's fucking talk PS5. This is a section we call Inform the Players. We tell you about what happened this week in PlayStation, and we're going to kick things off with some PS5 news. Also, hey, Chris Conway in the chat. How are you, my friend? It's fucking excited, man. All right. Bury the lead. PS5 events coming after literal months max of us bullshitting and fuck-assing around and speculation on rumor and this and that and that. It is finally happening June 4th in the US.
But the biggest story is Sony's dogging all the rumor mongers by doing it a day later. Because the big rumor was June 3rd, wasn't it?
No, it was June 4th.
Was it?
I thought it was. Because what was June?
I thought 4th? I thought it was the 3rd, and they're like, no, you know what? We're gonna make you wait a day.
If that's true, that's even better. But yeah,
so Max is right.
Yeah. Okay, sweet. Well, yeah, June the 5th for us here in Australia, 6 a.m. Friday. I will be up. Because I've got the day off, coincidentally. It's purely coincidence. This one, because
I swear, guys.
Yeah, it's pure coincidence on this one. So, I'll get up in the morning, I'll live react it. Dash was probably likely to live react it with me. It's gonna be awesome. But yeah, so we don't know what it is, but we'll go through these news and then we'll have some speculation fun.
Yeah, all right. So kicking things off, Sony bosses really wanted the PS5 event to be as professional as possible. So this information comes courtesy of Alana Pierce on Kinda Funny Games Daily. So she says, quote, Sony has tried to do presentations already this year, and I know this from developers who were supposed to be part of those presentations, but didn't for some reason. Somewhere in the Sony hierarchy, they were very obsessed with the idea of having a very, very professional stream rather than something previously recorded. She continues, so they weren't willing to do anything outside of a massive studio with a crew of like 25 to 30 people, which for those developers who were planning on having their games revealed at those certain streams was very frustrating. PlayStation just wasn't having the at-home quality stuff. They were refusing to do it, so I feel like maybe this is actually going to be huge.
I'm really happy with that, actually, because, if we... Let me just readjust so I can get serious. When we were talking about Xbox Inside, whatever the fuck it was, right? And then there's a dude who's clearly with their headphones on, it sounded like an asshole. It wasn't good. There were some things about that live stream that doesn't work. It is genuinely baffling how big companies, bigger podcasts are incapable of delivering good live streams, whether it be video or audio. It's genuinely baffling to me. So I actually kind of appreciate PlayStation sort of putting everything no, if we're going to make this big reveal, we ain't doing it.
Well, I get it. Everyone says don't judge a book by its cover, but first impressions really do matter.
Yeah.
And if they come out of the gate with a subpar, crappy audio, less than ideal video to show off what they're doing this year, what's the point?
Yeah, because it is one of those things, because even in time, if they look back and they're under the circumstances, it was a quarantine, this and that, in 10 years from now, no one will remember the quarantine, presumably. They'll just remember that the video looked like garbage. If you look back through those histories, there'll be the asterisks, but most people won't remember the asterisks. Dash also adds, excuse me, I'll just move this window out of the way. Microsoft couldn't purchase their host a decent webcam and Yeti mic. That's true. Almost all of them are using Razer headsets or other varying headsets, or using literally the onboard microphone of the laptop. That's fucking ridiculous. That's embarrassing.
So shortly before Sony announced their big event, the official PlayStation 5 page got updated, fueling fire of the impending event. So the last update on the website was in March after Mark Cerny's deep dive talk. The PS5 page now features 3 bullet points about the next-gen system. It's lightning speed, it's stunning games, and it's breathtaking immersion. Yeah. We're keen.
So hard drive, games, controller, literally everything we know so far.
So following the update, obviously there were more rumors of an upcoming event with the new report from trusted journalists Jason Schreier and Takashi Mochizuki over on Bloomberg said that they were planning their PS5 digital showcase for the 3rd of June. And then Sony came out and did the big...
Eat a dick, it's the 4th!
the big, oh no boys, you got it wrong. It's the 4th.
Oh, apparently, I can't remember where I read this, but there was, I think it may have been Schreier, is that like Sony were so concerned about leaks around this that they were like hard, like doing.
Well, they were saying that some developers didn't even know the date.
Yeah, like it was so heavily like locked that some devs that are going to be a part of this weren't even given the details, which valid. Like, you know what I mean? Like they just had one of the most massive leaks in their company's history.
Yeah.
Like when it comes down to The Last of Us. So I understand their hesitance and their reluctance for a lot of information to get out there. You know.
So obviously, you know, big news. We're finally getting it.
All right.
Now, everyone, try not to hype yourself up too much.
That was gonna be my next thing. So, Max, let's have a quick chat, and those in the chat can also jump in as well. What do you think we're going to see? You can go big picture, you can go the nitty gritty. What do you think we're going to see at this reveal event?
We're going to see some first party titles, obviously.
Yep.
We're going to see some third party titles. I noticed that on the tweet that they did, they were showing a black DualSense controller, not the white.
How good!
Not the white DualSense controller.
Yes.
So we're going to see some controllers. We're going to see the box. They're not going to tell us price. And I don't know if they'll give us a concrete date yet. But they will say pre-orders are open.
Yeah, I'm in a very similar boat to you. I think we'll see first parties. I think we'll likely see Horizon 2. I think we'll see Ratchet and Clank. At least from the 2 big sort of first.
Yeah, that $999 placeholder price will be what.
Yeah, sorry, Dash just commented in the chat about the placeholder for EB Games. But yeah, so we'll see. I think we'll see Horizon. We'll see Ratchet because I don't think they'll show anything later.
Warner Bros is going to come out. They're going to show us Harry Potter.
Oh my god!
We're going to see Batman. Everyone's going to lose all their mind.
God, don't get me. It's going to be so hard. Like I imagine they'll only be showing a lot of launch window stuff.
Yeah,
they might back end the presentation with look, and here are some things to come. And I don't know what they would be yet. Like I'm probably not going to say Spider-Man 2. I'm very likely we'll see God of War 2. I think Gran Turismo will be there probably in the early section because I think that's going to be a round launch title.
I think they'll also reiterate on their backwards compatibility and lock that down a bit harder than what Mark Cerny did during that deep dive talk, where they were kind of like, we're trying to make everything work, but at the moment there's only this, and they're going to come out with a concrete, this is going to happen.
Well, that's what I'd like to hear, that where they say this is exactly what backwards compatibility is going to be, and I think they're going to have to. So in terms of beats, they're going to have to hit, as you know, it's what games are coming. You know, backwards compatibility is a big one. They're going to be showing the box, and that's what's going to be exciting. That's what I'm super keen for. Additionally, is that box. I think we will get a hard date.
You reckon?
Or at least November. Yeah,
we'll get a month, I reckon.
I think we'll likely get November 2020. Because my rumor mill is still 2013. You know, it's just I think it's going to be there because that's where I'm putting it at personally. So yeah, I think maybe November 2020, which is a step ahead of what Xbox are doing because right now they've just got holiday season as well. We won't get a price. I agree with you on that. I think we will see that, as Dash points out, that $999 placeholder price. We'll be sitting here spamming the EB Games trying to get on that bad boy. I'm just trying to think. So in terms of controls, I did love that. Yeah, they showed.
Yeah, that was the first thing I noticed with their tweet, that it was a black DualSense controller, not the white.
You know how happy that makes me?
I mean, you mod your controllers anyway. Like at
That's
the end of the day,
true.
like, it doesn't really matter.
I tweeted that today.
The white one's actually probably better to work with than what the black one is.
In terms of modding, yes. But yeah, so like if that's the case, I'll buy a black one and I'll buy a white one. I don't give a shit. Like it looks awesome, and then I can get Ethan because Ethan, our friend at Tagmods, who modified my PS4. I may not customize my box straight away. Yeah, that's right. Vajazzle my box. But I think the controller will certainly be getting a workover. I'll get two and we'll fuck with one for funsies. Yeah, so do you think that we'll see like a suite of colors, or like, hey, at launch you can have black and white, and down the line here's purple, here's green, here's red?
Yeah, I think we'll just get the black and white for now. I can't imagine they've got too many created in the pipeline.
Do you reckon we'll see the box having different colors or different SKUs, or just the one SKU?
See, they've been talking one SKU the whole time, haven't they?
They've been talking PS5, like the comparatively to like Xbox when they had like. They've had the idea of multiple SKUs.
Dash is pointing out two SKUs.
Yeah, I'm thinking 2 hard drive sizes.
That's exactly what Dash is suggesting in the chat too, a 1 terabyte and a 2 terabyte SKU.
Well, there you go. Well, they've mentioned that weird 800 and whatever.
And now we're going to have to buy the 2 terabyte ones because all these games are going to be like a hundo plus gig each time.
Plan. Well, because this is the thing. So previously, I would just buy the low end model and whip my own hard drive in there. But if this hard drive is as fancy pants as they claim it to be, then there is that concern that like, well, I can't just put my own hard drive in there because I don't want to have an external hard drive. I want it all internal.
Well, I mean, Mark Cerny did say during his deep dive talk, you can deep dive talk.
Hi, Mark Cerny, you deep dive dork.
Deep dive talk.
Heard it here first. That's all right. Dash goes, sorry, I'm hosting the show. Dude, the excitement is real. It's palpable. I can feel it, so don't worry about it.
He did say that they will supply you with a list of compatible drives that will be powerful enough to run it, but there's just nothing at the moment.
Yeah, and that's rough because there'll be a window of time where I'm like, I have a 3 terabyte. Well, so my PS4's down there. I have a 3 terabyte hard drive in there. It's the first thing I did.
Well, so I'm still rocking a single terabyte, but like I must admit I haven't run out of space yet. But I've got friends with the 500 peasant, and he's like, "Oh man, I had to delete a game to update COD because COD's now so big."
Yeah, COD's like 400 gig for some fucking reason. But like, yeah, because they mentioned in that video with Mark Cerny, I think the 817 or weird fucking number that they mentioned in that thing. Everyone's like, "Wait, an 8?"
No, I think it'll be a 1 terabyte, and then it'll have it'll have 130 gig just. You can't touch this.
Yeah, but that's a lot of gig for for operation.
For you can't touch this. Yeah, I agree, but yeah,
it is weird. I think that in order to get around that's a bit fucked. I don't know how they're going to do that.
I was really hoping for those hot swappable drives that they patented.
Ejection drive.
Yeah, man.
It could still happen, man. It could 100% still happen.
But yeah, it's exciting to finally have a solid date and not it's coming soon.
Yeah.
There's going to be something soon. We're all talking about it soon. Just do it.
But yeah, as we said, twitch.tv/thepopculture. If you're watching on Twitch right now, that's where we are.
6 a.m.
6 a.m. Friday the 5th. I will be live streaming that with our good friend Dash.
That's Australian Eastern time.
Australian Eastern, whatever the fuck time. God, I'm fucking so excited. I'll probably cry.
You're not even going to sleep Thursday night. You're going to still be up.
I will be energized. Like this morning, I woke up and I had to take a piss. And I looked at my phone and went, yeah. and then Mel's like, what? I'm like, PS5. God, I'm so fucking keen.
It's nice to have a solid date.
But yeah, so there you go. Well, do you want to put? Well, it's not hard predictions, but yeah, there's my predictions. I will go specific because it's fun. Horizon 2, Ratchet, GT. There'll be the 3 big ones. Maybe in launch window, maybe not launch day. But I think Gran Turismo might be launch day. We will see the box.
Yep.
We'll see multiple colored controllers. We'll have a November release date. Wait, is there anything else I said?
No price tag.
Oh, no price tag. And I don't want to touch on like backwards compatibility and stuff because we know that they're going to have to talk about it. Like it's unquestionable they have to.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Spoods 2.
Like I said, at the back end of the trailer, we'll see things coming to the PS5, and we may see a splash of like God of War or a splash of Spider-Man, like because I think they're still a little bit too far away. But I think they might do, as long as they don't do like a Elder Scrolls, like, hey, it's coming, fucking sometime.
They give us the font of the. So this is the font that we've picked for this game.
When's it coming? Oh, it's not coming. All right, what are your predictions while I am down?
Yeah, so again, very similar to you. I think we'll get a month window, not a specific date. So November's pretty good. We're definitely not getting a price. They'll open pre-orders. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see Horizon. We'll see Ratchet. I agree with that. There'll be some third-party people there. We'll probably see Assassin's Creed. We'll probably see...
Well, because Assassin's Creed appears to have a marketing deal with Microsoft,
actually, that's
so
a good
I don't
point.
think we'll see him.
And I don't think we might... It's the same for Cyberpunk, isn't it? That Cyberpunk's been shown at every Microsoft event.
Yeah, Cyberpunk have a marketing deal with Microsoft.
I mean, I know what I want to say, and I'm hoping that we see Batman and some Harry Potter action.
What about Watch Dogs?
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll got one Ubi game over here and one Ubi game over there.
Maybe.
Like, that's some good diversifying of their portfolio with Ubi.
Yeah, it sounds all right. Not
a prediction, just speculating.
We're definitely seeing the box. We're definitely seeing the controllers. And then...
Okay, we'll ignore that.
Yeah, and then...
he's got a point, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, controllers, box, and... Yeah, it's probably it. And we'll just see some fluff trailers. Some this is what's going to come. This is how we're doing it. Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll find out on Friday for sure, but...
Yeah, it will show us those things, and I think that's what I'm excited for, is those things. That's what I'm super keen for.
Yeah.
We'll wait and see on that. Anyway, what else?
Cracking on. So Mafia 2.
Yes.
It's been rough. So according to Digital Foundry, though, the PS4 Pro version is the worst way to play the game.
Makes sense, because that's exactly how I played it.
Yeah, it was rough. So taking to Twitter, though, the studio has said, quote, "Thank you for your valuable Mafia II Definitive Edition feedback. We are listening and we are working with 2K to continue to support your experience. Reminder, if you are experiencing any issues or have any questions, please get in touch with 2K support."
Okay.
So
are they ready for a lengthy essay?
I would like to see it get fixed. I would like people to play the game as they remembered it, but it is what it is.
The difficulty here is that I've seen a lot of comments being like, "Oh, it's so good that they're addressing that it's broken and whatever." No. They chose to release a pretty broken game. Like, you know what it's what it comes down to them going, "Oh, we're sorry, we didn't mean it." Like, then why'd you release it?
Yeah.
So, like, it's all well and good, but the sentiment means nothing.
True.
That's how I take it anyway. They're like, "Oh, it's not as if this was a surprise to them."
I mean, it might have been.
If it was, then that's somehow worse.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not a bad point.
But I appreciate them coming out and making a stance and saying some things, and that's cool. But what are you doing?
Yeah, it should have. Yeah,
I like the idea.
It's the problem with being able to patch games. Sometimes they just ship them out underbaked.
Yeah, because it's not going to hurt. Like with Mafia 1 remake coming in August, like it's a little bit of time. They could push it back a little bit and not have too much of a problem. Yeah. And as I said in last week's episode and our review discussion on Mafia 2, this has me incredibly hesitant for what Mafia 1 remake is going to be. Like, if it's anything like this is disgusting. This is a game that is 10 years old, and they can't get it running on current generation.
Yeah, it was interesting to see that the Pro version was the worst way to play it.
How? I need to watch that video. I love Digital Fan. I need to watch it.
EA Sports have extended or are trying to extend their Madden partnership with the NFL. EA Sports is on the cusp of extending its partnership. It is currently the sole creator of NFL-themed realistic action sim video games through to the 2025 season, but it also gives them the option to make arcade-style games, but with a shared license with 2K Sports. Yeah,
so when it comes to the NFL license, like EA have sole right. No other company can make a similar sort of game using the correct team names and stuff. You can get like vague similar teams in like those arcadey sort of like as a secondary games, but if you want to use the New York Giants and and the Philadelphia Eagles, you can't. You simply can't because but same as baseball as well. Baseball used to not be that way because they had Major League Baseball. I think it was a 2K published game back in the day, and then the licensing went sort of towards what is now MLB The Show, or they just caved, and either Major League Baseball caved or the licensing changed, one of the two. But I know NHL is the same boat. You know, the rights are over here, therefore you can't make other games with the same things. It is. I like that they're extending. That's cool. Good on them because you know everyone talks about Madden is a pretty good game.
Madden
pretty well.
games are great,
but like, would it benefit from going to someone else? Because if it does go to anyone else, then they have to create a new engine. They have to create it all from scratch, and I think that we may actually see a decline. Yeah, in it's it's a bad example, but using WWE, like when that changed hands to another studio, big plummet because the other studio, which in this case was Ukes have been doing it for so long that like there's a standard every time. Pretty much. Well, like if EA lose this, who's gonna someone's gonna build it from scratch? It's not gonna go well. But I agree. The stranglehold on that one thing's a bit rough.
Got some more Assassin's Creed news.
Oh.
So, based on the words of narrative director Darby McDevitt, Valhalla will not be adopting the randomized loot system in Origins or Odyssey. Quote, every piece of gear is unique in the game and can be upgraded extensively so that when you find a piece of gear, you're excited and you celebrate it. And you can stay with it for quite some time. It can be viable for quite a long time, and it's quite different. It's quite a different approach than the previous games took.
I like it.
Good.
Well, because
there's nothing worse than being like, this gear is awesome, but it looks like garbage, and I don't want to be staring at this for the next 3 hours of my life.
What I'm looking forward to is next week when we get a statement going, oh, no, it's random. In the same way last week, like, it is not the biggest game we've been like, oh, no, it's bigger than Odyssey, promise. It's like, is it or it isn't? Are you still excited about this? Because we've touched upon it like pretty much every week for the last like 4 weeks now.
I'm getting oversaturated with news about it.
Yeah.
And I get that it's currently the big thing. It's,
there's not much going on.
Because there's not much else going on. I mean, I'll play it when it comes out. I'll probably enjoy it. I've enjoyed the last two. And if they keep going in that style of gameplay, I think, I think they got a winner. As long as they take out the pay-to-win mechanics of,
I also didn't see that
boosted XP for $20 dues.
Yeah, I didn't see that happening.
Yeah, me neither. I'll leave the Last of Us news for the big talk, but some quick biddies before we move on. Fast and the Furious Crossroads has been dated 7th of August in its new gameplay trailer. It's rough. Vin Diesel does not look good. Yeah. PS5 RPG shooter Outriders gets a brand new gameplay video. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered launches 27th of August.
Is that about you, Deb?
Yeah, man.
What is it?
It's great. It's an old GameCube game, I think. It's multiplayer Final Fantasy game. So good.
Okay. Sweet.
Marvel's Iron Man VR has gone gold.
Yay!
And red.
Yeah. Well done. Well, congratulations to the team at Camouflage.
Yeah, so keen for that. I should have bought. Why didn't I bring my Move controller?
Well, I plugged them in and they look to have responded, but I don't know anymore. We'll see how it goes.
PS4 Firmware 7.51 is out now, and surprise, surprise, it improves the system performance.
That's stability.
It actually doesn't mention stability at all. Ooh. It's just performance.
No, well, it's very stable now.
And the PS Plus games for the month of June: COD, World War II, and Star Wars Battlefront 2.
See, I was so confident that Battlefront 2 has already been a PS Plus game. Turns out it hasn't. But I was so confident.
Well, the rumor was that it was actually going to be Spoods because Spoods was free on the PlayStation Store for like 3 hours.
What? It's like the examples like Knack. Remember when Knack 2 came out and like it's free in Australia? I was like, what? And it was, I remember.
That's how I got it.
I remember a code came through for it and I was emailed back going, yeah, I got it for free. You can have this code.
So what do you feel about 2 multiplayer shooters?
All it is.
I mean, realistically, that's what they are.
Of course.
They've just moved on from 2 sim games to.
Well, that's what happened.
Shooters.
Everyone's like, sim games? Ugh. And like, oh, it's fine. Overcompensate with the most worn out genre ever. Here you go, here's 2 shooters. So all they've done is they went one way and they swang the other. That's all they've done. And it's like, bought out Call of Duty World War II around Memorial Day weekend.
I own
because,
them both.
just
I'm
like
not.
D-Day when loot boxes fell from the sky and everyone was like, opening, loot
So,
boxes.
yeah. I mean, I own them both
I don't
already.
give a fuck about either. Well, because that's the thing. I was confident Battlefront 2 was already on there because it's on my PSN.
Yeah,
But I never paid for it.
You probably bought it when it was $7.
No, I have a stance. I've never paid for it because it's the only game that I've took a definitive stance on. I'm like, you ain't getting my money, microtransaction piece of shit.
Yeah.
Somehow it's on there, so I can only presume that it's bought through PSN. If not, maybe someone's played it with my account and it's ticked up. I don't know.
Maybe.
Who knows? All right. Anyways, that's enough about this week in this week's news. Let's chat to the players, Max, about The Last of Us Part.
So just
2.
before we dive into the deep dive of the state of play, so Naughty Dog has also shared their next installment of The Last of Us Part 2 video series. New footage focusing on level of care of attention that first-party devs take with their titles. And also, the official Last of Us 2 podcast has been announced with the first episode to launch on June 9th.
Who's the gentleman?
Headed up by Christian Spicer, I believe.
Should I know that name?
He hosts a podcast called DLC.
You talked about DLC before.
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
Huh?
No.
Oh, I like them. They're good guys.
Oh, sweet. No, I guess that's positive praise. But anyway, yes. This week they revealed last week, time of publishing, PlayStation released a state of play, and specifically about The Last of Us Part 2.
So second state of play in 2 weeks.
Yeah, man, we went from having none to having 2. That's how you know a reveal event was coming, because it's getting all that shit out nice and early. But, okay, as we talked about last week, we don't know the spoilers. We will not discuss the spoilers. We will only discuss what has been presented to us in this state of play and our thoughts on said state of play. So if you want spoilers, you can fuck right off, because we don't have them. We don't want them. Max. So what we saw is a 20-minute state of play. It kicked off with about 10 minutes of Neil Druckmann sort of giving a bit more information on the story. We come to learn that it takes place several years after the events of Last of Us Part 1. Ellie is now 19, so she's older. She is based in Jackson, Wyoming initially. It's a sort of a nice secluded mountain town that's sort of been able to escape the pandemic, the infection. So they've been able to sort of maintain some sense of normalcy and start to get back to a regular life. And this is where the start of the game, where they mention Joel and Ellie are here. And then we never hear about Joel again in the trailer. Just saying. Pointing that out. But yeah, then they also discussed that you presumably move around on locations. There's multiple seasons, so very similar to the first. Hey Cass, what's going on? And then there's also different areas. So they mentioned, Wyoming and the Northwest.
Yep. They also mentioned that the areas are quite large, so they've given you traversal options.
Yes, there's a horse.
There's horses, there's boats, there's rope.
Yeah, so you can grapple down, you can swing. So Ellie has a bit more movement. She can swim now, because she couldn't swim in the first one. Only Joel could swim.
Yep.
Big thumbs up for that one, because fuck, that was annoying. And then we also saw a bunch of new infected. So you got the runners. The runners are now faster and more vicious and more come in higher numbers. The clickers are still present. Then you've got
the sneaky boys,
the sneaky ones whose name I can't remember right now. Then
I think they're the stalkers,
and you've got these big pustule fucks. They didn't give them a name.
The Shamblers, weren't they?
Shamblers, yeah. So there's these bigger units that kind of a bit more, and they revealed that
heavily armored and
and they revealed there's a bigger one or bigger ones.
They said that there were others, but you have to wait to see.
Yeah. So, additionally, we also see the two the human factions in the game as well. So we've got the Seraphith or the Scars, which is the religious cult.
Or the Seraphites.
Seraphites. Yeah. So we saw these in previous trailers. These are the ones like hanging and drawing and quartering people and stuff and breaking elbows. These guys seem to be pretty gnarly. And then additionally, we have the Washington Liberation Front, which is a group of heavily armed militia that sort of weren't too stoked when that area started to getting overrun by the government. So they sort of fight back with guns that they've stolen from the army. And they have like guard dogs and stuff, which is cool. So they also demonstrated new ways that Ellie can be sensed by dogs using sniffing. Scent is the word I wanted, not sniffing. Scent. So there's a little bit extra there. There's a bit more traversal, as we mentioned. So Ellie can now duck and weave and
climb and jump and run and
slink through things, which is cool. We saw what the UI would look like, which is very similar to the original, where it seems to be a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more tidier, a bit cleaner, but mostly the same. What else did they show?
They showed a lot of the different craftable items. They showed us some weapons that we can use. They talked about the different ways you can tackle encounters, whether you avoid them completely or you go in stealthily, you go in guns blazing. There's still that semi hand-to-hand combat. It looks like you can take hostages and use them as human shields. It looks good.
Game looks dope. My God, I want it so bad. Now, like it is public knowledge that the game is out in the wild right now. The big boys, the big units in the games press are on it. Like in terms of Australia, I know the Press Start have it. They've advertised on their Facebook. We know that like Kind of Funny, like Greg Miller's got it, and we can only presume IGN and other places have it as well. So the review embargo for that is the 12th.
A week prior to launch.
So a week prior to launch. We have received information that we'll likely have it around about then. So we'll be able to have some content ready to go for launch, which will be cool. If those are interested with what we have to say. So we'll have it within that week prior to release, which will be exciting. What do you think of this state of play, Max?
I think it did exactly what it needed to do. It didn't go too deep. It didn't give away any story beats. It was just what we needed to know. So they reiterated a bit more on the story, and then they're like, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. This is how we've made small improvements, but it's very much following and a continuation on from the first title.
Yeah, so it is one of those things like you watch this trailer and you go, yes.
There's small little nods. Like I know you pointed it out to me when we watched it just before the show. Instead of in a lot of games when you pick up ammo, you pick up the whole gun. In this, you pick up the gun, you take the ammo clip out. And you drop the gun back
so it
down.
demonstrated a lot of smaller details.
So they would, they definitely put some care and love and attention to detail in their game when developing it.
Yeah, big time. So I've seen some comments like, it's just more Last of Us. I'm like, well, yeah, that's what we want.
But that's what we wanted.
That's what we want. Like, it's one of those things where there's no need to evolve on something just randomly.
If it ain't broke.
Yeah, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But there are certainly improvements that can be made. And, even though Last of Us was considered by many a 10 out of 10 game, there are still rooms for improvement here. Like, the gameplay was probably the weakest part of the whole experience previously. So I'm hoping that there is some improvements in that space. But it's one of those things like, all right, the game's going to be really good either way. So the game's going to be fantastic. One thing that, we mentioned is those smaller details where it's just like, you're pulling the clip out of a gun rather than taking the whole gun itself. It's a very minor detail. The Vita was present for some reason, playing Hotline Miami. Interesting.
You can now get the clickers to attack other hostile enemies.
Yeah, so previously, from what I remember, because you're about to replay Last of Us right now, so you'll keep us updated on that. I played it semi-recently at the start of the year. Like I distinctly remember there being, this is the clicker area, and this is the human enemy area, and they never commingled. Where here they're going to commingle, which has me excited. Sort of to see where it sort of seeps together, and I like that as an idea. Sort of see where they go. And then if you can use one to sort of like stab the other, then I don't know about you, fucking win.
As long as they don't like instantly turn and become those really fast boys and just wreck you straight away.
Or maybe but what I would hope, one thing that would really frustrate me about that if that was the case, would be more of, because sometimes if you make two enemies fight each other and one of them spots you, they both turn on you. I just forget that the other person's an enemy as well. That would be frustrating.
Yeah.
Like if it was more of the infected AI was enough to be like, I'm gonna fuck both of you, both you up. You're all dead. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see for that one.
Yeah. But
the clip that they showed of that was pretty small.
To sort of reiterate a point that our good friend Paul James mentioned during their discussion on Operation PlayStation was that they had a tough balance here in delivering the state of play, right?
Yes.
They can't embellish because it's in reviewers' hands.
Correct.
And the spoilers and stuff are out there. So people have already seen it. So they can't lie.
Yeah.
So like it's actually really interesting because like their hands aren't so tight. They cannot embellish. They cannot sort of, they cannot oversell something because at any point both sides can go, no, it's not true.
It's incorrect.
It's the most that a company's been able to be held accountable. Because right now, there's a great video on this by Jim Sterling, is because when you're in that new generation lead up, you can say fucking anything. And it doesn't matter because they can't be proven right now.
Yeah.
So like you can just make bold ass claims. Just bold claims. They're like, oh no, it's the fucking fastest SSD you've ever seen in your entire life as I readjust my belt. I mean, it's like no one's ever seen an SSD like this. Can you prove it? No, I don't have to. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. So like Naughty Dog being put into a place where they like have to be 100% honest, but they also don't want to show too much and they can't show too little.
Yeah.
I think they've delivered for being within that very,
I think they're now
very restricted setup.
For being stuck how they are. Yeah.
And I applaud them for like they showed us 10 minutes of new gameplay, but at the same time it was in settings we've already seen. It was scenarios we've already seen. So it's not really new things. Even in the video itself, when they talk about showing internal and external environments, what we saw in this gameplay was that exact same environment. Yeah. So they're not like throwing ahead to later in the game where there's stuff we haven't seen yet. There's a lot, and it looks to not be taking place in Jackson. So there's at least potentially 2 other areas we haven't seen yet. And I like that a lot. It's like it's enough teasing. I was very excited watching this, of course, because we've not watched these access videos. We've kind of done our very, very, very best to stay away from spoilers. Like we've watched the last couple of trailers, but I don't know, you haven't.
I haven't. No, I was also not going to watch the state of play, and then you're like, you have to watch it.
Yeah, we have to watch it. This is something we have to talk about.
So I watched this like literally right before recording.
Yeah. So I've had a little bit of time to ponder on it. Like this is the second time that I watched it before we came in here. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. But yeah, like I said, I'm pretty stoked on it. The game looks great. In terms of visual fidelity, it looks pretty on point. I have no doubts going in because even though like we've heard about the rumors and that apparently people are getting really mad about the story beats they're hitting, which I presume that they're heading into the likes of Ellie's sexuality because that's addressed in the trailer as well with her smooching on that woman. Like everyone's talking about how it's all super whatever. Okay, I don't have an issue with that. If that becomes part of the story, I don't care. Yeah, because that's always been part of the story. It was never talked about because back then Ellie was like fucking 11. Just,
Yeah, I mean they covered it in the Left Behind.
Yeah, it's one of those things like 'cause it came out in the DLC later that then makes you rethink the entire first game. Yeah, which is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And so in terms of that,
I think they've done very well. They came out and they said, this is the biggest game that we have made. Our environments we've gone bigger, we've improved upon them. They look great. They did say that the 2 factions kind of had their own what's the word I'm looking? Recommended environment, like those the religious zealot people kind of. They did say that they like the dark and the gloom, and they like to be stealthy.
They use camouflage.
Yeah, they use camouflage and stuff. Whereas the other guys are like, we've got dogs. We're just going to sniff you out. We're going to follow the path that you took. We're going to find you. We're going to get you. So yeah, the environments still look great. The gunplay still looks great. The crafting system still looks awesome.
It's like simple. It's handy. Yeah, I like it. You use a Coke bottle as a silencer now.
They've kept a lot of the stuff very similar. I'm pretty keen.
Yeah, very, very excited. Oof.
Yeah, like you said, I think they hit that balance of not oversharing, not undersharing, and with their hands tied of, the people who have seen the spoilers know exactly what's going on.
By hitting on very vague story beats, it actually worked out well because it allowed them to be
I was a bit upset when she killed the dog, but you know.
Well, apparently they get really mad. So the WLF gets super fucking mad if you wreck their dog.
Good.
Which is good.
Which is good.
But I mean, like, as in their character motivations, like they get more frantic, and like it's what I think is sort of hinted at in the trailer. But yeah, I'm fucking keen.
Yeah,
I'm so keen. I don't know like what else I can say without sounding like repetitive or reductive, because we've already kind of hit upon like what we're excited about with this game.
I mean, the main thing is we should point out, if you haven't watched it because you were concerned about spoilers, really doesn't show anything that hasn't already been seen.
Correct, and that is very surface level as well. As it's like, here's the basic story premise. Here is, it's just like you are Ellie and Joel, and you are at this place once. So yeah, and then you go to this place once, and then these are two factions that you will see. These are some of the enemies. Like, it's so surface level.
Yeah,
like,
don't avoid it because you're worried.
Yeah, like, credit to them for being able to seem like they're sharing a lot, but also seem like they're sharing nothing.
Yeah.
Which is an incredibly good balance, personally. That's what I think, anyway. The only other question I do have, what the fuck is Neil Druckmann's accent? Oops, OBS has crashed. That's not positive.
Bye, OBS.
Bye, OBS. I'll come back. Launch anyway.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Hang on. We'll keep chatting. There we go. All right. Can we start streaming again? There we go. We'll just come right back to where we were. La la la, everybody watching on the podcast didn't know a difference. And we're back. All right.
Yeah, I think we've pretty much covered everything.
I think we're pretty good to go. Like I said, I'm super happy with it. I have we'll wait and see. As we said, we'll hopefully be getting it very soon.
June 19th release date.
Yeah, so big thank you PlayStation Australia, because I said we've been in talks already. Now it's one of those things of the like, I knew that we wouldn't be first round. We would never be fucking first round. So I'm whatevs. But I'm just very happy that we'll have the opportunity to play it.
Yeah,
I'm so excited. In fact, so this morning.
Oh no! Here we go.
I jumped onto the EB Games store, and I hate pop vinyls, but they've got The Last of Us Part 2 pops. There's one of Ellie and one of Joel. Joel's covered in blood with a shotgun. Ellie's got a knife and she's all covered in blood. I'm like, I pre-ordered both of them. And then I almost pre-ordered the tubs, the ducks that are all decked out in cosplaying, like the cosplaying ducks. Previously the company had been very kind and sent me a couple for my son. He still loves them. They're out in the lounge and he plays them all the time. I almost pre-ordered the Last of Us ones as well because they're stunning. But the God of War ones are coming, and I was like, I think I might get the God of War ones instead and wait and see. Let us know what you thought of The Last of Us State of Play. Once again, please no comments. Please no spoilers in the comments, because you be nice, please. But no,
still nothing. Still last week's games.
We can't even right now. We'd be like, well, that game's coming out forever. Let's talk about games that are coming out this week. Can't.
Apparently, nothing's coming out this week, guys.
Because PlayStation have not provided the drop this week, which is a big old shame. But I'm sure it's a bunch of small games that no one gives a fuck about.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that's actually off the top of my head.
Actually, pull up VG247. They might have something. So VG247 releases. Hi, everyone. Weird. I can't hear. You can't hear anything. Is it? That's why. Because when OBS crashed, it reset itself to what it was previously, and that was with a muted microphone. So my apologies on that one. But yeah.
Where are we? We're in June.
We're in June. It'll be first week of July. My bad.
No, it'll be the first week of June. We're in May.
We are in May. June. Anything the first week? We've got
PC, Switch, PC. We've got Samurai Showdown Neo Geo Collection, June 11th.
That's
not even. There's nothing. There is nothing in the first week.
Apparently, there is absolutely nothing coming to PlayStation this week. So that was easy.
Although Max will be getting Valorant because that comes out June 7th.
Oh, Valorant, nice. I don't know. Yeah,
so keen.
A friend of mine, friend of the show, Dad Bod Plays, was like, "Hey, you want to play some Valorant?" I'm like, no, because I don't know what it is. And then I found out, I was like, it's finally coming to Australia. I'm like, oh. Like, he lives in the US. Like, all right.
Yeah, I'm so keen.
I have no idea, don't know nothing about it, but that's fine by me.
What a shame.
I'm probably gonna pick up Man Eater. I'll probably do it.
You're gonna pick up Man Eater?
I'll probably pick up Man Eater.
Fair enough. I'm gonna keep playing Super Smash. Anyway, this PlayStation conversation. This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations, please head on over to our socials, our Facebook, Discord, Twitter. All the links are in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist, where you can watch us record this show live. You can have chats in the chat like Dash did, like Cass did, and some other guy who got very quickly blocked. He's a fucking idiot. But everyone else, pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
But yeah, we do love having the live show, the live chat, because it does add a fun dynamic to it. And
it's also nice having someone to back up my fact checking on the run.
I like to just be kept honest. That's a big part of it for me. I really enjoy it. But speaking of Twitch, as we said, if you come and join us this Friday the 5th of June, 6 a.m. Australian Eastern, whatever fuck time, I will be streaming the live reactions to the PS5 Reveal with good friend of the show, Dash. It's going to be exciting. We will get all our PS5 fucking hardness. It's going to be awesome. Check it out. If you want to support the show, you can. You can share the conversation. You can tell your friends. You can tell your family about this little PlayStation pod. Be sure to give it a star rating or a review or whatever podcast platform of choice that you use. We'd really appreciate getting out there, getting some more love. You know, we put some time and effort, not a lot, but some time and effort into this show, and it'd be cool if we could have a bunch more listeners, have a pretty good time. And of course, if you want to support us financially, you can. Patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculturist.com/shop, where you buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. And until next week, where we will deep dive into the fucking PS5.
I hope there's enough to deep dive into it.
Well, if not, we'll just do it anyway. I'm Ryan Besson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was For the Players.
Yeah.
Fucking PS5!
PS5. It's coming. Soon.
Next week. For the Players, the Pop Culturist PlayStation podcast is fan-supported at patreon.com/thepopculturist. And we'd like to thank our Patreon producers and our Patreon founders for their kindness, their support, and their generosity. Our Patreon founders: Alpha Ferret, Craig O'Flaherty, David Chataway, Jesse Stevenson, and Jacob Garner. And our Patreon producers: AJ Abatomi, Damien Holdies, Kyle Dunn, Lee Wintershoven, Nathan Massetti, Paul James, Pure Mongrel, and Sean Levitt.